Why emotional intelligence? Well, I shared with you that I grew up in IT, and people like to make fun of us in IT. And some of you engineers, even if you're not IT, you get kind of put in the same arena with us. And people make fun of us for not having very good people skills and things like that. Well, not everything that everyone says about us is true. But there is a joke. It's not as good as what Mike just did. It goes something like this. How do you know when a computer programmer is really outgoing? Because when she talks to you, she stares at your shoes instead of her own. Okay, so these are the things people say about us, right? Now, I have this huge bias anyway, which is, we spend a lot of time at work, and sometimes you see the people you work with more than you see your friends and family. So let's make this positive experiences, because we don't always understand that snippy comment that we made to somebody at the end of the work week stayed with them all weekend. Now, we all have responsibility for our own feelings. So if you say something snippy to me and it stays with me all weekend, that is partially my choice, that I, hanging on to that baggage. But it would also be nice if the snippy comment never came out because you edited yourself, because you thought, I could say this to Margaret this way, which is snarky, or I could say it to her this way, which is more kind, and hopefully get the same result. I think I'll choose the kind approach. Self-regulation. Well, that kind of is that editing piece. Self-regulation. See, it's really good that I understand my moods, but I want to use that to think before I act. Think before I act.
Reading this, you can really see how this applies to yourself, but at the same time, I was thinking of somebody that's in my life that could use this information. And so how, with a soundbite, without the benefit of your presentation, in a very short amount of time, how can you lovingly tell them that perhaps this is a good idea for them?
Let me see how many. So I guess I'm saying fine-tune the message based on what you think is happening with them. And things happen in our lives, right? Good days, bad days. We have days where we're stronger. We have days where we're weaker. So any day you can only do your best. So at the end of the day, balance that day in your head. Here's what I liked, here's what I didn't like, and let yourself go to sleep. You get up tomorrow and try again. And tomorrow you'll do your best too. Every day our best looks different. Every day our best is different. The person that you call upon to work with a difficult coworker or client, the person you go to, maybe when you need help, the person who's really well networked because they've built and cultivated a lot of relationships, the person who can walk up and talk to just about anybody, these are all aspects of social skill. Social skill does not mean that you have to be really extroverted and outgoing, okay? So I could still keep looking at your shoes, but have a degree of social skill as long as I learn to handle it my way. So social skill isn't that person who can walk in and talk to 20 people all at once. Social skill might be the person who's able to come around and talk to you one by one and one-on-one because that's what they're comfortable with. And I like to point that out because frequently I meet people who say, well, that's great, but I'm an introvert, I'm never going to have social skill. And that's not simply not true. You develop social skill in your way. Do any of your team members come to work stripped of all their emotions? No. Do any of us come to work stripped of all our emotions? No, no matter what somebody might accuse us of. Emotions are in the workplace. And when we are able to understand how we're behaving and why, and learn why others are behaving, we can build a better, high-performing team. And like I said earlier, I don't mean that in a manipulative way. I mean that in a caring way. Let's treat each other well.